Hello and welcome to Bridges. Let's talk Regina Daniels. I know it's looking late already, but that is because I don't like to jump into people's stories, especially when they are having troubles. But there are certain stories that are important to create necessary lessons. I would say that I actually wish that Regina is free. I actually wish that this thing will come to an end, because what happens most times is that their matters are sensationalized, everybody jumps into the story, and the next moment they come out and tell you that it wasn't actually what you thought, and you see them loving up, look at my fingers, loving up, in parentheses. I put it that way because it's actually good for lovers or partners to be loving up. Don't get me wrong, it's actually the right thing, good for partners to love up, but these ones don't look realistic. And shared beautiful moments, beautiful times together. But what happens with these so-called sensationalized marriages or relationships is that they still come crashing because they lack ideology, they lack values, common grounds, and they are most times unequally yoked. Take note of these keywords. I'm going to explain. I wish, like I said earlier, that Regina is finally free, or this whole thing is over, because ever since they got entangled, it's been one saga or the other, one story, one acting, one drama or the other. And it's typical of relationships that are bound to be so. So one would wish, if you mean well for this young lady, for this whole thing to have ended, and really ended, like really come to an end, so that she'll decide what to do with her life. And why I say so is that people like the person she is entangled with are not people that will let you go easily. Have you gotten involved with older persons, kind of people, certain kind of people as a very young person? They don't let you go. They don't let you go. They tie you up like they are very vindictive. But in this case, it might be different. I don't know. So let me define some of those things I said earlier. I said they lack ideology. What is the ideology? The idea of marriage being between two mature adults. Two mature adults. I also talked about values. Values, covenants between two people, two committed fellows. The sanctity of the covenant or covenants between two fellows who know what they are going into. What about common grounds? Here you talk about status, age, you talk about affiliations, exposure, you talk about aspiration. Then on equal yoke, you talk about belief pattern, where one believes that I can hold a marriage together by certain rituals, and the other one sees it as what is in it for me. Belief pattern, age gaps. The people involved in this whole triangular relationship, the man that is involved, the girl that is involved, or the young woman, the now young lady that is involved, and the mother who broke out the relationship. This tripartite arrangement shows the gap between the breeders. The man involved can be called the breeders, the millennials, who is Reggie's mom, and the Gen Z, where Regina falls into, and then Gen Alpha, Gen X. So you see the gaps, which I will call unequal yoke. What about personality? I'm talking about aspirations and these unequal yokes. Unequal yoke is represented in so many forms. I know that as I'm talking about unequal yoke, some people who are of certain religion, like Christians, they are very familiar with the phrase unequal yoke. But remove it from religion. Unequal yoke exists in so many relationships that we have seen online in recent times. So many love affairs that we've seen published online in recent times. And I call them unequal yokes because these are disasters waiting to happen. If you know some of those relationships that I am talking about that are flouted or flaunted online, painting a particular picture. Because in this case that we're talking about, what has made it get to this point is even the pictures that were painted about it, the normalization of something that is wrong in an era where most young persons want to justify some of the ideas they've created in their head. Okay, if you know some of those kind of unequally yoked relationships, put them in the comment section and let's talk about it. There are so many relationships online now that are disasters waiting to happen. The signs are all over the place. And when people don't pay attention to signs, they will come back to cry about those signs. Now, let's make it clear. Regina's childhood and her youth were stolen from her. She was forced to mature forcefully. She had to mature forcefully. She had to mature forcefully. Her circles got closed. What do I mean? Maybe I'll say it again and you didn't hear it very well. And you didn't hear it very well. Regina's childhood and her youth were stolen from her. Her circles got closed, such that her vocabulary will be reduced. Her friends will change. Her gradual growth into adulthood, motherhood, wifeyhood, relationship and marriage was pushed into a forced maturity. Let me break it down for you. This is a girl that was groomed from between 16 to 18 years old for this whole stuff. I don't even think that she had to continue with her education, because she quickly stepped into this role, started playing wife to a man who is supposed to be nurturing her. And then, remember, when you get yoked with somebody in a romantic relationship, you step up to the person's age. You step up to the person's level. You forget that she's significantly, forget that she's significantly younger than this man. You guys now share so many intimate things that make you equals. You are going to discuss ideas on the same level, plans on the same level, programs on the same level, everything on the same level. But was she at that level at the time? No. But she will be forced to step up, to live up to expectation. So, like I said, her circles would close. This is a young girl who is now made to begin to mingle among governors, among senators, among highly placed politicians and husband's circle of friends. Obviously, her vocabulary will change. The vocabulary of young people will no longer be her vocabulary. The freedoms expressed by her group of age, the Gen Z or whatever, Gen Alpha or whatever, would change. Would change. So she'll be forced to speak adult languages, mature languages, respectful languages, official languages. Something has been taken away from this young lady. She started mingling with people who are not ready and are not even expected to use youthful languages, children languages. You understand that? So a portion of her life had to go to fit in. So in trying to belong, she would not find expression. She would not find appropriate expression. People will say she will find expression, but I say she will not find appropriate expression. So this lady would buckle in and be at that crossroad where in her inner person, she will feel like the man in my life does not understand. Of course, they will laugh, they will smile, they will talk, but there are things she cannot freely express if the man in question were to be her age bracket. Age bracket will be between your age and the next 5 to probably 10 years, because people are grouped in that age every 5-year gap. So her choices, her moods, her rationality and irrationality will all be questioned. Invariably, she will bottle in a lot, even among circle of friends, and her cliques will also reduce, because which friend will find her to where she is? And that reminds me, it looked like this whole responsibility she took up, or her mother put her into, made her or affected her career as an upcoming superstar. Education was halted. I said halted because I believe that whenever you wake up is your morning. You can always go back to school. But education was halted. Thank God she has something she has also acquired within this time. God has blessed her with some children. Who says she cannot go back to school? She had to play that wife, public figure, and mother at a time where we begin to ask whether she actually was ready. Because the question will be whether Regina actually went into that marriage out of love, out of compulsion, that I feel something for this person, and your guess is as good as mine. This girl was groomed between 16 and 18 years. You ask me for what? Say she's madly in love, or men don't finish, or her age don't marry finish. For what? Or that she had desperately or helplessly fallen in love, or that she wants badly to get married at this age. The answers are all no. Somebody used what she had to get what she wanted, and that's Regina's mom. The gaps in her life, the emptiness she feels, the things in her head that she wants for herself, she used her daughter to think that she will get it. And the question will be, has she gotten those? Because, how do we say it? Our own, now our own, my own, now my own. You cannot use somebody by proxy to be getting what you want. It can work for a very short while within the time of that frenzy, and it will fizzle out. The reality will come back. It had better been true that this whole thing is over, because any man that will throw you out in the open to save face, save the day, save position, save head, is also a user. Because I'm a politician, you're not going to ruin my career, you're not going to ruin my position, you're not going to ruin my reputation, the law is not going to come after me. What the convenient thing to do is to splash you in the open just to save self. Splash your vulnerability to the public to save face. Every of the statements in the post the politician made was self-absorbing, shifting responsibility. And what does that tell you? It shows you how you are valued in this whole nonsense. Tell me why a young lady who was not addicted to drugs before will, within a short time of entanglement with you, be entangled with drugs. Start doing drugs, and helplessly so. If Regina does drugs, Ned&Gina is an accomplice. He has funded that life of drugs too and covered it. But because now his violent behavior, his attacks on this young woman is in the open, he plays the victim card and uses what everybody will find out to keep her down.